fine.
This reorganization meeting of the Township Council is called to order. In accordance with Section 5 of the Open Public Meeting Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, be advised that adequate notice of this reorganization meeting of the Township Council of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, was made by the posting on the bulletin board at the municipal complex and transmitted to the officially designated newspapers a list of dates annually indicating that this reorganization meeting would take place at the Franklin Township Municipal Complex at 7:00 p.m. on Wednesday, January 2nd, 2013. In addition, a copy of this notice is and has been available to the public and is on file of the municipal clerk. Do I have Anne Marie?
Yes.
Should I announce the regular meeting too, or we're fine?
It's fine. You're good.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing by the invocation which will be given by Councilman Ted Chase.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May those assembled here today enjoy the many offerings of our township. May we abide by the rules we have established, those of trust, fellowship, and ethics. And may we place service above self in our daily endeavors. And may we always test ourselves and our efforts to be sure they are the truth, good for all concerned, of benefit to mankind, and provide peace and understanding. Amen.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll of the council.
Councilman Chase.
Here.
Councilwoman Francois.
Here.
Councilman Kramer.
Here.
Mayor Levine.
Here.
Councilman Prasad. Here. Councilman Regan.
Here.
Councilwoman Sherman.
Here.
Councilman Vasanella.
Here.
Councilman Wright.
Okay. Thank you very much. Before we start, just want to let you know that if you want to follow along on our agenda, they're right here by our clerk, Ms. McCarthy. Feel free and get up at any time. It's not rude. You can get that along with associated resolutions and ordinances. And you can usually see them, usually around the weekend before on our website, so you can see what's going to happen at the meeting. Before we do this, we have, I'm glad to have everyone here for our annual reorganization. And though all of our residents and citizens are honored guests all the time, a few people who are dignitaries and represent us and those around us are here. I'd like to acknowledge first is our senator in Trenton, Senator Bob Smith. Appreciate you taking time. And some from our neighboring communities. We have Mayor Ed Zimmerman of Rocky Hill, our neighbor. And Mayor Ray Heck of Millstone, also our neighbor. And from our Board of Education, a member and a president for a long time is Ava Naj. If I miss you, I apologize. Throw something at me and I'll make sure I bring it there. Bring you up. Okay, so we are now at item number 5 on the agenda, which is Emancipation Proclamation, and a proclamation regarding that. So, Councilwoman Raj Sherman will join me over here by our podium.
Thank you very much. This is a very special event for our country, for our community. This is the 150th anniversary of the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation, and we have many events planned for this year to commemorate that. and this is our kickoff event. We will have a proclamation from the township that will be presented for one of the organizers of the events, and then we're going to have the reading of the Emancipation Proclamation. But I'll let the person who's going to introduce that tell you all about that. So I'd like to read the proclamation. Whereas on January 1st, 150 years ago, President Abraham Lincoln issued the preliminary Emancipation Proclamation stating that by the following New Year's Day in 1863, slaves across America would be thenceforward and forever free. And whereas 150 years after that historic event, we recognize an important milestone in the American story and reflect on the progress we have made toward realizing our nation's founding promise of liberty and justice for all. And whereas, though it would take decades of struggle before African Americans were granted equal treatment and protection under the law, the Emancipation Proclamation marked a courageous step forward in fulfilling that essential task. And whereas it affirmed that the Civil War was a war fought not only for the preservation of our Union, but for freedom itself, and by opening the Union Army and Navy to African American men, the proclamation gave new strength to liberty's cause. Now, therefore, we, Rosalind Sherman, Councilwoman, and Brian D. Levine, Mayor, do hereby proclaim that the Emancipation Proclamation stands among the documents of human freedom, and we commemorate this 150th anniversary. Let us rededicate ourselves to the timeless principles it championed and celebrate the millions of Americans who have fought for liberty and equality in the generations since. I'd like to present this to May Caldwell, who brought this wonderful program to the attention of the Cultural Arts Council. May. He's already signed it. I didn't realize I haven't signed it yet. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Good evening. Good evening. And Happy New Year. There are very few pleasures that I've had that are more important than the one I have this evening. We are here to have an historic celebration for the history of our country, which has long been denied, overlooked. We are here after 150 years to still work on the freedoms which are due and owing. This evening, on behalf of the Franklin Township Cultural Arts Council, we welcome you here. And we hope that you will come to events all year long which will commemorate this important event. So stay tuned. There will be more goodies coming your way. It is my very special pleasure to introduce the person who is going to read the Emancipation Proclamation document to you. He is a 13-year-old honor student who has parents here. He has grandparents here. He has a great-grandmother here who is 94. He knows the names of his great-great-grandparents, Sherman Chambliss, Carrie Chambliss, and their parents, Floyd and Bobby. And before that, the people who were freed would have perhaps heard, belatedly, the words of Lincoln. So we're doing an historic follow-up of what would have happened 150 years ago. It is my special, special honor to introduce my grandson, Avery Caldwell.
Thanks. The Emancipation Proclamation. The full text, preliminary and final, of the Emancipation Proclamation issued by President Abraham Lincoln in 1863. Whereas, on the 22nd day of September, in the year of our Lord, 1862, a proclamation was issued by the President of the United States, containing, among other things, the following to wit. That on the first day of January, in the year of our Lord, 1863, all persons held as slaves within any state or designated part of a state, the people whereof shall then be in rebellion against the United States, shall be then, thenceforward, and forever free. And the executive government of the United States, including the military and naval authority thereof, will recognize and maintain the freedom of such persons, and will do no act or acts to repress such persons, or any of them, in any efforts they make for their actual freedom. That the executive will, on the first day of January aforesaid, by proclamation designate the states and parts of states, if any, in which the people thereof respectively shall then be in rebellion against the United States. And the fact that any state, or the people thereof, shall on that day in good faith represented in the Congress of the United States by members chosen thereto at elections wherein a majority of the qualified voters of such state shall have participated, shall, in the absence of strong countervailing testimony, be deemed conclusive evidence that such state and the people thereof are not then in rebellion against the United States. Now, therefore I, Abraham Lincoln, President of the United States, by virtue of the power in me vested as Commander-in-Chief of the Army and Navy of the United States in time of actual armed rebellion against the authority and government of the United States, and as a fit and necessary war measure for suppressing said rebellion, do, on this first day of January, in the year of our Lord, 1863, and in accordance with my purpose so to do publicly proclaimed for the full period of 100 days, from the day first above mentioned, order and designate as the states and parts of states wherein the people thereof respectively are this day in rebellion against the United States, the following to wit: Arkansas, Texas, Louisiana, except the parishes of St. Bernard, Plaquemines, Jefferson, St. John, St. Charles, St. James Ascension, Assumption, Terrebonne, Lafourche, St. Mary, St. Martin, and Orleans, including the city of New Orleans, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Virginia, except the 48 counties designated as West Virginia, and also the counties of Berkeley, Accomack, Northampton, Elizabeth City, York, Princess Anne, and Norfolk, including the cities of Norfolk and Portsmouth, and which accepted parts are, for the present, left precisely as if this proclamation were not issued. And by virtue of the power and for the purpose aforesaid, I do order and declare that all persons held as slaves within said designated states and parts of states are and henceforward shall be free, and that the executive government of the United States, including the military and naval authorities thereof, will recognize and maintain the freedom of said persons. I hereby enjoin upon the people so declared to be free to abstain from all violence unless in necessary self-defense, and I recommend to them that, in all cases when allowed, they labor faithfully for reasonable wages. And I further declare and make known that such persons of suitable condition will be received into the armed service of the United States to garrison forts, positions, stations, and other places, and to man vessels of all sorts in said service. And upon this act, sincerely believed to be an act of justice, warranted by the Constitution, upon military necessity, I invoke the considerate judgment of mankind and the gracious favor of Almighty God. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the United States to be affixed. Done at the city of Washington, the first day of January, in the year of our Lord, 1863. 863, and of the independence of the United States of America, the 87th. Thank you.
We thank you for being here. Those of us who don't have further business with the council may exit quietly and leave them to their deliberations. Thank you.
Well, we'd be just as happy to have you stay.
It's that woman. It's that woman who answers your phone. I see that woman who answers your phone.
Yeah.
Switch seats now.
Okay, we'll,
You just do it.
okay, we're going
Not to make
to
it.
continue on with our meeting now. And just one of my
And then Ted is going to switch.
quick interjections.
I'm not sure.
So I always have, this is quite simply, my mug of today's meeting just says Franklin Township. We're all in this together. Hopefully we'll all work together. 2013, the number 13 is a good one for the United States. 13 colonies, 13 stripes on our flag, et cetera. So hopefully this will be a good one for Franklin. I think there's 13 stars around our Minuteman, and for the United States also. So we come up to item number 6 on the agenda, Deputy Mayor appointment. This is a one-year term. Are there nominations for Deputy Mayor?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Deputy Mayor Kramer, I guess you're still a hangover.
I am Deputy Mayor, perhaps for another minute or less. I would like to nominate Roz Sherman to be Deputy Mayor.
Okay. Councilwoman Roz Sherman.
Thank you.
Are there any other nominations? Okay. Is there a motion to close nominations?
So moved.
Second it.
Move, say all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion is carried. Okay, so I can do this. Okay, I'm going to just, I was going to say acclamation, but just so we can hear everyone call it in. Ms. McCarthy, could you please poll the council on Councilwoman Roz Sherman as Deputy Mayor?
Councilman Chase.
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois.
Yes.
Councilman Kramer.
Yes.
Mayor Levine.
Yes.
Councilman Prasad.
Yes.
Councilman Regan.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman.
But of course.
Councilman Vasanella.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Very good. Congratulations, Deputy Mayor Rosalind Sherman.
Thank you.
And our clerk, Anne Marie McCarthy, will administer the oath of office right here by the podium.
I, Rosalind Sherman,
I, Rosalind Sherman,
solemnly swear
do solemnly
that
swear
I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and I will bear true faith
and I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established
and to the government established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of
all the duties of
Deputy Mayor
Deputy Mayor
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I would like to thank everyone for their confidence, my fellow council members, in voting me as affirming my nomination for the deputy mayor's position. Franklin is a very, very special town. I've been here about 10 years now, and it has just absolutely enthralled me. I love the people. I love this community. I love the beauty of it all. I am so privileged to be part of this and to be asked to serve as deputy mayor. I look forward to serving. I look forward to working with everyone, and I am just deeply honored to receive this privilege. Thank you so very much.
Okay, next we have our number 7, which is our various attorneys and professionals. So we have item number 7-1, nomination for township attorney for the 1 year ending December 31st, 2013. Is there a nomination?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Councilman Kramer.
I'd like to nominate Lou Renone. And I guess, do we nominate him or do we nominate the firm?
We don't have
firm?
a lawyer, we can't ask.
The firm. I'm sure.
No attorney to ask.
Right. Well, I'll nominate the firm of Dakotas, and I don't remember the entire name.
Pointing to himself, I think.
Fitzpatrick and Cole.
Pointing to himself, I think.
Oh,
personally.
okay.
Either or, okay. Whichever one we
The
nominate.
attorney, you should have nominate the attorney.
Okay.
Well, but we
You
often
can say
have,
the firm and his name.
Lou Renone of Dakotas, et cetera, okay?
Fitzpatrick and Cole.
Okay,
okay.
okay, thank you. Are there other nominations for this position? Okay, all in favor of closing nominations for this, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion is carried. All in favor of Mr. Renone by acclamation, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion is carried. Mr. Renone, thank you very much, and we'll administer your oath of office, too.
I, Louis Renaud,
I, Louis Renone,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly
that I
swear
will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey.
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people,
And that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of
all the duties of
Township Attorney
Township Attorney
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Okay.
I'll get you. What'd you want to do?
Congratulations.
We're not going to talk about it now.
There you go. Very good. Just ask if you could close nomination. Or should I do it where I don't have, if I don't
You
hear
could
it?
say, hearing no other nominations, I close.
I should know after all this. Okay, next we have 7-2 nominations for litigation tax appeal attorney for the 1 year term ending December 31st, 2013. Are there nominations for that position?
Mayor,
Councilman Vasanella.
I would like to nominate the firm of Shane, Schaefer, and Raffanello.
Okay, and I guess
I'm bel-
specifically Mr. Raffanello.
Specifically, Mr. Raffinello, I'm sorry.
Okay, very good.
And, that's it, Mayor.
Okay, other nominations? Okay, hearing none, nominations will be closed, and just the only discussion I have is, Mr. Raffinello came here last year, and his firm, I think, did a very excellent, superior job, and cost-effective for us, but more importantly, a good job, so we appreciate that. I speak for myself, but I think for all of us, too, so I appreciate that very much. Ms. McCarthy, could you please poll the council on Mr. Raffinello as our litigation tax appeal attorney?
Councilman Chase,
Yes?
Councilwoman Francois,
Yes.
Councilman Kramer,
Yes.
Mayor Levine,
I'm going to abstain for my own reasons, but the remarks I say are still as strong.
Councilman Prasad,
Yes.
Councilman Regan,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sherman,
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella,
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
Yes.
Okay, motion is carried. Now, are we going to do all the other swearings in at a private time? Is that what we usually do?
Yeah, there isn't a swearing in for these.
Oh, sorry.
For tax appeal, the additional legal services and bond counsel and auditor, there are no swearing-ins. There are for a prosecutor and the alternate prosecutors, but I don't know whether you're going to do them tonight.
Okay, we can do those privately at another time, is that right? Okay. Okay, and thank you also. Appreciate it. Okay, next we have item 7.3, nominations for additional legal services, an attorney for the year ending December 31st, 2013. Are there nominations for this?
Yes,
Mr.
Mr.
Mayor?
Mayor. I would like to nominate
Councilwoman.
Everett Johnson from Willits, Goldman, and Spitzer.
I think that's the next
No,
one.
that's
the next
the,
one.
No.
For bond counsel.
This, 7-3, additional legal services.
We're on number 3.
Mr. Mayor,
Oh,
I would like
I'm
to
sorry, I was
nominate-
ahead of you. I'm sorry.
Councilman Wright, I'll speed up.
Okay.
Go fast.
McManaman, McMahon, Scotland, and Berwin? Bauman, for legal services under Leslie London, attorney at large.
Okay. Other nominations?
See what I did?
Okay, hearing none, those nominations are closed. All in favor of Ms. London and her firm by acclamation, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion is carried. Congratulations, Ms. London. We're always glad to have you around. Next, we have 7-4, nominations for bond counsel, one-year term ending December 31st, 2013. Councilwoman Francois.
Okay. I'd like to nominate Everett Johnson from the firm of Willits, Goldman, and Spitzer.
Okay. Other nominations? Okay, hearing none, nominations are closed for that position. All in favor of Mr. Johnson, Willens Goldwyn Spitzer, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion is carried. Congratulations, Mr. Johnson. Now we have our Township Auditor, 7-5, one-year term ending December 31st, 2013. Their nomination for such position.
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Regan.
I'd like to nominate John Loria, please. I actually don't have the firm information in front of me.
McInerney, et cetera. Something like that. All right. Okay. Okay, other nominations?
He knows who he's working for.
Okay. Other nominations? Okay, hearing none. Nominations are closed for auditor. All in favor of Mr. Loria and his firm, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion is carried. Congratulations, Mr. Loria and the firm. Glad to have you around again. Next, we've got item number 7-6, Township Prosecutor, one-year term ending December 31st, 2013. Is there a nomination for a prosecutor?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to nominate
Councilmember
Hector Rodriguez for Township Prosecutor.
Hector Rodriguez. Other nominations? Hearing none, nominations are closed for that position. All in favor of Mr. Rodriguez by acclamation, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion is carried. Congrats again to Mr. Rodriguez, who served us well for a while. And we have item number 7, nomination for Township Associate Prosecutor for one-year term ending December 31st, 2013. Is there a nomination?
before we
Deputy-
get, yes.
Pardon me. Deputy Mayor Sherman.
Thank you. We had one of our associate prosecutor, Joe DeMarco, had resigned fairly recently. He did a wonderful job. We wish him good luck in his new position. The administration committee had interviewed Michael Verdun and has made the recommendation. I just wanted to let everyone on the council know that, since it happened very quickly. So I'm not going to make the nomination, I just wanted to make that explanation.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Regan?
for that position of Associate Prosecutor, I would like to nominate Michael Verdun.
Okay. Are there other nominations? Okay. Hearing none, nominations for that position are closed. All in favor of Mr. Verdun for Associate Prosecutor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion is carried. Congratulations. We're glad to have Mr. Verdun aboard. I've spoken to him. He sounded impressive. I'm sure he's going to serve our town very well.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Regan?
just for the record, I forgot to read the firm. He's with Singer.
pardon me.
Singer and Verdun.
Okay. Okay, good. Thank you. And we have item 7-8, nominations for 2 alternate prosecutors, each one-year term ending December 31st, 2013. Are there nominations for these?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Wright?
I would like to nominate James A. Key Jr. as an alternate prosecutor.
Okay. And that
Yeah, I'd like to
Councilman
nominate
Prasad?
Doug Singletary for alternate prosecutor, too.
Okay. Other nominations? Okay. All in favor, okay, since I hear none, nominations are closed for that position. All in favor of Mr. Key and Mr. Singletary as our alternate prosecutors, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstained? Motion is carried. Congratulations, Mr. Key, Mr. Singletary. Again, I'm sure you'll do our town well. Thank you. And the last of our attorney and professional appointments for this evening is our public defender for a one-year term ending December 31st, 2013. Is there a nomination?
Oh, Public Defender,
Councilman
I'd
Chase?
like to nominate Dennis Orsiello, who has served in that position for some time. And
Okay. Other nominations? Okay, hearing none, I'll close nominations for public defender. All in favor of Mr. Osceola by acclamation, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion is carried. Congratulations, Mr. Osceola. He's been with us a while, glad to have him around. Okay, next we have item number 8, council standing committees. And if we can do these together, we will. If we have to do them separately, we'll do that. They are our 5 are administration, financial oversight, public safety, land use, open space, parks and recreation, and public works. And I had, at the last meeting, we had to put the agenda together, myself, deputy mayor, manager, clerk. I asked our clerk to send an email to all of us asking if there were any particular positions or nominations we had, and I sent her back saying my interest would be in financial oversight and administration. And if there's any others, you can certainly let us. Any others come to you? Okay, just mine. All right. So, are there nominations for these standing committees? And if it gets a little too unwieldy, we'll do them one at a time. If we could lay them all out, we'll do that. And there's 4 for every committee, I guess, isn't there?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Any nominations?
Yes, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Councilwoman.
I think we should
Francois.
just go by each committee.
Okay, want to do that first? Okay. So which would you like to take first? Let's
Start with administration,
Okay, go ahead.
and then we'll go down the list.
Okay.
I'd like to nominate Rajiv Prasad, Rosalind Sherman, myself, Kimberly Francois, and Brian Regan for administration.
Okay. Okay, any others? I'll nominate myself, Brian Levine on administration. Okay, any others? Okay, hearing none, we'll, nominations will be closed. So you can vote for up to 4 people for the position. So, Madam Clerk, please pull the council on the committees.
Councilman Chase,
Rosalind Sherman, Brian Regan, Rajiv Prasad, and Kimberly Francois.
Councilwoman Francois,
Sherman, Francois, Regan, and Prasad.
Councilman Kramer,
Sherman, Francois, Regan, and Prasad.
Mayor Levine,
Just Mayor Levine.
Councilman Prasad,
Francois, Prasad, Regan, and Sherman.
Councilman Regan,
Myself, Deputy Mayor Sherman, Councilwoman Francois, and Councilman Prasad.
Deputy Mayor Sherman,
Myself, Prasad, Francois, and Regan.
Councilman Vasanella,
Francois, Reagan, Sherman, and Prasad.
and Councilman Wright.
Councilwoman Francois, Councilman Prasad, Councilman Regan, and Deputy Mayor Sherman.
Okay. So the voted to the position is Councilman Prasad, Deputy Mayor Sherman, Councilwoman Francois, and Councilman Regan. And as I'm going to chime in with my own note, I'm extremely disappointed here. We start off well, communicating, and the one thing I'm looking for, I'm the mayor. I should be on administration. I have to say, I think it's ridiculous. And everyone here, they had their votes, they didn't feel like they could change them, and hopefully we'll go on well from here. But it's a sour note. Last year was a rough one to the beginning. This year started off very nicely, and no one felt that they could give me 1 inch. I'm extremely disappointed. And so this may be the tone that the year is going on, but I guess that's how the people want to do it. We've got a lot of deadlock in Washington and Trenton. I was hoping Franklin would not be the same. Okay. All right. So next we have financial oversight. Are there nominations?
Yes. Mr.
Councilwoman
Mayor,
Francois?
I'd like to nominate Regan, Kramer, yourself, Mayor Levine, and Councilman Wright.
Okay, Councilman Regan, Councilman Kramer, me, and who else?
Councilman Wright.
Wright.
Right,
Okay.
Carl.
Okay. Okay.
He's taking I'm recommending that he take my spot.
Okay. Okay. Are there other nominations? No, okay. And I'm not going to nominate, but discussion on the nominations. I mean, it's changing, that's fine, people can do that. Going back in, obviously there was discussion on these positions and, chose to keep me out, the mayor, out of administration. Okay, so fine, that's how we're going to be. Again, I hope the tone isn't set too strongly like that, but that's the road we're going down.
Mr.
If
Mayor, if
we're on
I may,
finance.
Deputy Mayor Sherman?
I really, I'm disturbed by the fact that the impression is being given that there's some kind of a vendetta. There are 9 council people, very qualified people, and, we're trying to make sure the right people are on the various committees. Perhaps at another time, you will be there, but at this point, this is not the decision, or this is not the way the vote went. But I don't think it is a particular condemnation of you. I think we will continue to work together and move forward. I'm sorry you're giving the impression that there's some kind of an ill will, and there is none. There is none. So I would hope that the year will progress in a very cooperative manner, in a very civil manner. So.
All right, I do see that one person is on both of those committees. It was last year, and
Right.
I thought that could be the case. If anyone chooses to,
I'd like, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to clarify, I was on both committees. As a governing body, we decided that one person would be on both committees. And I decided because of my work schedule, it would be difficult for me to be on financial oversight. So at that point, that spot became open. And basically, that's pretty much what happened.
Okay. All right. Well, it was like one of the only things I had asked for, so I don't understand. You can say as you want it. Fine. Okay. Any other nominations? Okay. All in favor of these four by acclamation, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion is carried. Are there nominations for Public Safety Committee?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like
Deputy Mayor
to
Sherman.
nominate Brian Regan, myself, Jim Vasanella, and Carl Wright.
Okay. Other nominations? Okay. All in favor of these four council people as by acclamation, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion is carried. Next, we have Land Use, Open Space, Parks, and Recreation. Are there nominations for this committee?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Wright?
I would like, this is for land use.
Yes.
I would like to nominate myself, Councilman Chase, Councilman Prasad, and Councilman Kramer. You do want to?
Okay. Other nominations for this committee? Seeing none, I'll close nominations. All in favor of these four people for the committees, please say aye.
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 Opposed, abstained, okay, by acclamation, those four. And the final is Public Works. Is there a nomination for Public Works Committee?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Chase?
I'd like to nominate for Public Works, you, Mayor Levine, myself, Deputy Mayor Sherman, and Councilman Vasanella.
Okay. Other nominations for Public Works Committee? Okay, hearing none, I'll close the nominations. All in favor of these four by acclamation, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion is carried. Next, we have item number 9. That is, I'm just kind of getting my list in front of me here. Okay. Item number 9, appointments, resolutions, vote on separately. And this is first resolution 9-1, resolution 13-1, approval of 2013 council liaison representative appointments. And this is, I got it right, this is council members who are on various committees. I had that one right? Oh, there it is. Okay, I'm not pulling it up. Okay, thanks. Okay, these are council people as representatives. I think this is a, Ms. McCarthy, this is just redoing last year's nomination?
Correct.
Okay, so these are the people who were on last year. Anyone can certainly change it or move this resolution.
I move for reappointment of all the people from last year.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. I can do it.
Oh, yes.
Okay, all right. If there's no other changes to this, all in favor of the resolution which continuing every...
Mayor?
Oh, I'm sorry, Councilman Chase.
I just noticed in this, you have down Naomi Nierenberg for the Cable TV Committee. It was my understanding that she had resigned
That's
right
council
after
appoint-
her last appointment.
That's the next resolution.
That's the next resolution.
That's the next resolution.
Okay,
This is council
That's
day.
got to be amended.
You were actually on that resolution.
all right.
There's a few down there that,
Okay, all right, so we'll get to that in a
Yeah,
moment.
these are just councilmen, these are just council liaisons, actual council people.
Okay,
so I believe it was moved.
all right, yeah, moved and seconded. Any other changes? Okay, all in favor of all of these appointments, as in Resolution 13-1, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion is carried. Okay, congratulations to all. Okay, next we have, and I'll get to Councilman Chase first, just a quick background on it. These are nominations. Per our instructions, our clerk, Ms. McCarthy, sent out a questionnaire to everyone who is on a committee of the residents of town, asking if they want to be reappointed. So they are on here, if three things happened. A, they said, yes, they want to be reappointed. Number two, they filled out their financial disclosure form. I forget what number three was, but,
And
Yeah,
they
the
had
required
50% plus attendance?
oh, that's right.
And they met the attendance.
They met the attendance requirement. Thank you very much.
I just realized I was looking at last year's appointments.
Okay.
Sorry.
So these are here, so any council person can certainly change these, add, or et cetera to it. So is there a motion for this resolution 13-2 or any changes to it?
I move the resolution.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor of these appointments by acclamation, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstain, motion is carried. Congratulations to all. Everyone on those commissions does not receive any pay. As a matter of fact, it usually costs them money because they got to travel and get various things, so I congratulate and thank them very much. Next on item 10, we have various appointments for committees which either they're not being filled or they were empty anyway. So instead of going through them one at a time, I'll just ask in general, are there nominations for any of these positions?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Councilman Kramer.
For the Advisory Board of Health, Dr. Eric Urick.
Okay. And any other nominations for any of these? Okay. I'll consider nominations closed. We just have, for number one, Advisory Board of Health appointment for the term ending December 31st, 2015, three-year term. All in favor of Dr. York by acclamation, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. Motion is carried. Congratulations, Dr. York. Thank you for serving. Number 11 is mayor's appointments, the planning board and the library board of trustees. I will actually do two reappointments for the planning board. Class 1 appointment, I'm going to reappoint Robert LaCourte. And on the library board of trustees, I'm going to reappoint Iris Kislin and Somerset Run. Both have served us well. Thank you very much. Now we get to item number, 12, mayor's report. Since we've got a lot going on and the big thing is reorganization, it's just, I'm glad we're here again to do the town's work. I hope we all do well. I'm sure we will. And a happy new year to all. And next meeting, I'll have the more boring diatribe I usually have. I'll get back to that. So now we have 13, for the first time on any stage, is Deputy Mayor Rosalind Sherman's report.
Thank you. I also have no comments other than to wish everyone a very happy and a very healthy new year, and I look forward to serving my community in the role of Deputy Mayor. Thank you very much.
Okay, next we come to public discussion. This is the only time to speak of a general nature, actually the only time to speak this meeting for the public at all. So we're glad to hear from you, hear what you say. So we have item number 14, public discussion. Is there a motion to open the meeting for public discussion?
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion is carried. Meeting is open for public discussion on any item of interest. Anyone interested in speaking, please raise your hand. And when I recognize you, come to the podium and give us your name and address, please. Yes. Mr. Tibbs. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Tibbs, it's kind of backward, but okay. All right, thanks. Aye. Okay.
Johnny Tibbs, 25 Parkside. I'll be very brief because this is going to be an ongoing thing for the rest of this year. First of all, I'd like to congratulate each one of you guys on your appointments and Deputy Mayor Vice and the rest of you guys that was appointed for this year, 2013. Hopefully that this will be a better year than last year. We tried to maintain most of the community to be safe for all of our kids. And there was a number of concessions that was given up, but there's a long ways to go for this year. And I'd like to start off this year by declaring two particular things. I hope that this council will understand that I am a member of an organization that was very viable in this township for a number of years. We took care of all of the problems of the youth. We took care of all the problems of the elder adults. We took care of all the problems of the kids in the daycare and so forth. And since that time, that there has been a systematic endeavor to void all of the actions that this agency, which was SCAP, was able to do and to take care of the people in Franklin Township. Now, there have been a number of appointments this year, a number of concessions this year that you guys have given to the Somerset County government. I have advised you on several occasions that's not what you're supposed to do. You, as individuals in this community, are supposed to maintain your own and gather your own thing and not depend on the Somerset County government to give you anything. They're in the business of taking everything from you. So it's kind of unnecessary for you to give anything to them in terms of the health department concessions or anything else. That's a wrong thing to do. To anything you think you can go with Somerset County government, I've been fighting them people for 40 years. They're not in the business of giving you anything. So I hope you guys will narrow down and not do any business with the Somerset County government. Secondly, I hope, Mayor Levine, that you will resign from the Somerset Community Action Board. You have been designated to go to that particular agency and to kill it. And you've done a wonderful job, sir. There is no more business of serving the community in terms of kids, adults, of anybody since your appointment to that particular board. And it was a smart endeavor. You did your job. There is no more services in Somerset Community Action Program. So you did your job. You was put there for a certain reason. Kimberly, I'm sorry that you was among the people there, and you did a good job. I hope you guys understand that if Mayor Levine is not on the member of the SCAP board, perhaps the community will be able to get something done. He's put there for a reason, and he did his job. There's no more community services in Franklin Township in the black community. And I hope you understand what I'm saying. I've been here a long time. I know what I'm talking about. And I hope you don't do any more business with Somerset County, because they're for one reason, to kill anything that the other party has to do in terms of serving their people. Thank you very much.
Okay. Now, usually if a council person's addressed, we give them the opportunity to speak, so I'm going to take that for myself, and
Yes, sir.
Councilwoman Francois wants to also. If I have very high respect for you,
Yeah, I do it for you too, sir.
but I take strong objection to what you said. My object on the SCAP board was to help them, and that's what we've done. The community part, as we've discussed,
I
has
can't
to
tell
come
you.
through.
Cannot tell, sir.
And we've got Head Start, which helps our kids, and we're expanding, and we're doing a good job, and with all the members there, that's our concern. So I'll just leave it simply at that.
Well, Mayor Levine, I think you understand me. I think you know me very, very well. I think that you know as well as I do, there's no more programs in Franklin Township that has anything to do with the youth, the senior citizens, or any type of other social services that's rendered from that particular agency. And it's because of your presence, they're no longer a community action agency, they're now a daycare agency and daycare only. And that's because of your influence on the board, and which all the members of the board have now become your cronies, and you've turned them all over to your people, and so therefore that the community is no longer part of that particular unit, and so therefore we have no more services. And it's because of your presence on that board and your influence on that board that causes the killing of the Somerset Community Action Program. That's the fact. If we want to go check the facts right now, I think anybody would tell you there's no more services in Franklin Township. That's why the council now has to pick up some of the social services that they're no longer able to provide. And you have to understand that.
Joe, one other thing, and usually I don't want to go back and forth. I wish I had the kind of influence you're suggesting that I had, that I could turn everyone my way. and kill it. You look at the vote on there, and you'll see a lot of my votes going the other way, but okay, it's not really worth going
Yeah,
on.
board, I'm not talking about it.
I'm talking about that too, but
Yeah.
it's really
Well,
not worth
we
it.
have no more services. Hopefully, we'll be able to
ahead.
get something this year. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else from the public wish to speak?
Seeing no one coming forward, Mayor, I motion to close the public portion of the meeting.
Seconded.
Okay, moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion is carried.
Start down this way.
Okay.
Comments.
Council comments. Number 15, we'll start over here. Councilwoman Kimberly Francois.
I certainly did prepare council comments, but I would be remiss if I didn't respond to Mr. Tibbs' comments. I do sit on the board of the Somerset Community Action Program with the mayor as council liaisons to that board. And there are quite a few board members that are on the Board of Trustees. We represent 2 out of 15 people. So the mayor himself nor myself can control all of 15 people's votes. Yes, there is a lack in our community. I do agree with Mr. Tibbs about some of the services that we have outsourced to the county, like our health department, and I don't think that was something we should have done. I voted against that. However, SCAP has new leadership, and this year we are embarking on partnering with the Hamilton Business District to try to come up, and we also have a meeting scheduled with the Township to start talking about how we can partner our vision for providing the types of services we need in that area, how we can turn Lewis Street around, which has been sitting, it's a travesty that that building has been there as long as it has been. The biggest reason why we have not done as much as we could do is lack of funding. And so we're looking for ways to be more creative and be partners with Hamilton Street and the Township and SCAP and figure out how we can get grants, how we can raise money, how we can turn Lewis Street around and make that building a viable place for our youth to prosper and participate in the services that they need. So you got to take baby steps before you can walk, and that's what we're doing. It's a number one priority for the SCAP board, and you can't blame that on the mayor, and you can't blame that on me. You have to blame, there's no blame here. We're doing the best that we can, and when you do your best, that's all you can do. I'd also like to just say, I hope everyone had a happy, safe, and enjoyable holiday season. As we embark upon this upcoming year of 2013, I pray that God will bless this township, our youth and our seniors, our home state of New Jersey, and all of the American people everywhere. I also pray that God will grant this governing body the vision, the wisdom, the knowledge, and the courage to govern in a way that will always be decent and in order, so that we never lose focus of why we are here and why we were elected and what is so important to our constituents, the residents and businesses in this great township. And I also would like to say, given this year embarking upon the 150 years of the proclamation, Emancipation Proclamation, there were several people in the audience that said to me, which I would have never thought of this. So, Deputy Mayor, I want you to listen to this because I know you're head of the Cultural Arts Committee. This was your show tonight. There were quite a few people that said, we have these presidential pictures up here. What about our current president, our 44th president, President Barack Obama? If we're going to talk about how this is such a historic occasion for 150 years of emancipation, that might be something befitting that we could consider putting a picture up here and having a cultural event to do some type of an unveiling of that.
Wonderful idea.
So I wanted to put that out there, and hopefully I know you'll take that charge. And I'd like to just say Happy New Year to everybody, and I hope 2013 brings good health, prosperity, and peace. God bless you all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Brian Regan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As we start the new year, I do want to wish all the residents of our town a Happy New Year and hope that they had a safe and happy holiday season. for those that celebrated Hanukkah or Christmas, those very festive and family-oriented holidays. I truly wish that everyone enjoyed them. It's hard sitting here today in some ways, just recognizing what happened a few short weeks ago in Newtown, Connecticut. And just so folks in the town understand that hasn't gone unnoticed by members of our council. Though tonight we won't be going into any details, there will be some action taken up by the Public Safety Committee, working with the full council at whole and working with our police department to be proactive in looking at potential improvements that we can do in the school system and working with the school system here in town, and not just public schools, but private schools also, because all children are valuable regardless of whether they attend public or private school. So we will be looking at that and hopefully have some recommendations that will be coming forth in the February timeframe. Again, it's naturally a very difficult topic to talk about and to look internally at it, what you could do, what potentially could be done. So it will take some time, but I did want the residents to be aware that this governing body has not forgotten about, or that issue has gone unnoticed, and we will be taking some actions to address that in the future. And again, to everyone, I truly wish you a safe and happy 2013. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you. Councilman James Vassanella.
Thank you. I want to thank the young gentleman who came up here and so eloquently read an entire document without pause, and to his credit, I didn't detect one glitch in the entire reading. So I think it's part represents his capabilities, but also his interest and appreciation of the subject matter, which he was honored to be able to read, I'm sure. Without repeating the comments that were just made, I concur with the comments of my two colleagues here that spoke so far. And hopefully this year, 2012 was a heck of a year. Boy, I thought it was going to be a lot more good things to celebrate than bad news to unfortunately wake up to, with whether it was storms or mass shootings or gridlock in Washington, and I won't go down the list, but it just seemed like we lost a lot of good people in the world of politics and entertainment and just good citizens throughout this country. But 2013, well, we still came through, and in a way we accomplished a lot as a country and a lot as a township, and we got through a storm here in this township among many other difficulties, and I think we came out okay. So just hoping, wishing, praying that 2013 will serve to bring more good news as opposed to some of the bad news we had this year. That's it. Have a blessed and good year, 2013.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Phil Kramer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, Happy New Year's to everyone. I guess I could title my council comments as what I did with my winter vacation. I went to the menorah lighting at ShopRite at the beginning of my vacation, and then unfortunately the next day was the shooting at Newtown, and that has a particular meaning to me since my niece lives in the town. I'm from Connecticut, and I was on the swimming team at my high school, and our rival every year was Newtown High School. So I know the town well. I've traveled to it many times, and it hit home with me, as I'm sure it did with everyone. So the next day I was on the phone talking with the chief of police and the superintendent, making sure, not directing the chief of police, but just satisfying myself about what was going to be done, and I will not get into any operational things that were done, but let me just say the chief of police, well, we're quite lucky to have him. and he was thinking of this, he was on it, and he was well aware of the concept of copycat and police presence and a show of the police being there. That, I also asked or spoke to him and the superintendent. The BOE was having a meeting later that week, and I guess I liaison between the two, and as a result, the chief of police spoke at the BOE meeting, and I hope, my point was that he could put to rest any fears that people had, and just, again, to let people know that our police force was there. That conversation also spurred a tour, maybe that's not the right word for it, but a visit to all 9 schools by the mayor and myself, the superintendent of schools, Ms. Naj joined us, the head of security of the schools, the Mr. Vornlacher, our manager, the chief of police and the deputy chief of police. And a lot of things were said there, but the most important thing was, in my mind, was getting a face-to-face with between all of our school principals and the major people here in town, so that they knew them personally and would feel comfortable to pick up a phone at the slightest indication of anything. So we, as Councilman Regan has indicated, we were well aware of what was going on, and we were most attentive to what was going on. Then, as I continued my time off from work, I took half a day and I went out with the Department of Public Works to, they wouldn't let me help, which bothered me, but watch them and learn from them as they were picking up brush around town, and also I got to watch what goes into fixing a water break, a water leak. I went to the Office of Emergency Management meeting and gave my input as to Storm Sandy, because I had watched the operations, gave my inputs as to the things I thought that might be helpful next time and things to think about next time. I also, during this time, went on my 6th ride-along with the police. I'd been doing ride-alongs all year with them, always at night, always at what they consider to be the busy times. I've learned a lot from that. That was one of the things that influenced my vote about paving more roads. When you sit in the back of a police cruiser, bouncing over roads time after time, and realize the wear and tear it puts on the cars, on the officers, and even maybe discourages an officer from going down a road because it's in bad shape, because he's gone down it twice that night before. That helped me realize how important paving our roads are. While at the menorah lighting, 2 people came up to me and said to me, "Boy, I love this town. You guys are doing a great job. But there's one thing I can't stand, are the speeders, people speeding down my road." And I tell you, it's probably the #1 complaint I hear, consistent complaint I hear from people. So I did a lot of thinking about that. I spoke with the manager. He arranged a meeting with the chief of police, and we sat down and we talked about and brainstormed ideas. And I don't know if we can do it economically, so I'm not promising, but I am looking for ways to run a anti-speeding campaign in town. We are on a budget crunch here, and we may not be able to do it. Believe it or not, you don't make that much money for the town by speeding tickets. although you might guess differently from Rocky Hill. The mayor of Rocky Hill is here. They've got good enforcement, and we can learn from them. And their town actually came up in our discussion. That's something I'm going to be looking to do this year. And then the last thing was I set out to read the entire code book of this town. I didn't realize what I was doing. Land use is 500 pages long itself. So I've only gotten halfway through, but that will be another thing I intend to do, to finish the code book. Found in about 5 pages of comments that I'll be working on correcting or tweaking. So those are my comments. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Carl Wright.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I only have 3 things to bring up. I'll start with the middle one. We have a 4th of July committee that plans the 4th of July here in Franklin Township. We need to activate that committee, and that's run by our chairman, Bill Grippo. It includes the police department, public works, our finance, she's over there in the corner, Miss Miller, Joyce Miller, our purchasing agent, and myself. This year, we look to put this together earlier than we did last year and be more kid-friendly. Face painting, something along those lines. So we're putting it together, and probably in February, I can give an update, a small update. Next, we're working with the BOE. It'll probably come to public safety. But we're looking to put sidewalks and curbs in town along the streets that lead up to certain schools. And the reason why we want to do that is because if you put the sidewalks and curbs, it will allow the children to walk to school, thereby saving money on busing every year. And that money saved on busing could be used for better education, something along those lines that makes everything better. So we're going to work with the Board of Ed and our township manager to put this little part together so everything works out fine. Also, we're working with our freeholder, Robert Zaborowski. And the reason why we're working with him is that Franklin Boulevard from Eastern Avenue to Hamilton Street is bad. We have potholes, cracks in the road, you name it, we got it. So I put a call into his office, and we talked twice today. First thing they're going to do is patch, because they can't rip it up right now, from what I understand. But they're trying to put Franklin Boulevard in their capital budget to get that street repaved. I'm sure Jimmy Vassanella, who owns a part of that street, will go down the line to see if we can get that paved for this year. And Mr. Mayor, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Ted Chase.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't have too much to report. We have a lot of things in the works that should come to fruition in the next year. For instance, we have arranged for not only a wetland survey, but a preliminary plan for developing active recreation on the Catalpa property, sort of out of Franklin Park. Also, we've put in an application to the state at the instance of a resident of Franklin Park to see if we can get them to build sidewalks along Route 27 between Beekman Lane and Cortelyou Lane. There's a lot of businesses along there. We'd like to see more people able to walk to those businesses rather than getting in their car and driving from one parking lot to another. And I might add on to what Councilman Wright said about building sidewalks to facilitate more children walking to school. That also gets the children in better shape. They get more exercise. There's a program called walking bus to organize the children to walk to school in a body, perhaps with a parent leading them. And this has advantages both in saving busing and in getting the children more exercise. I want to commend our manager for getting that leaning tree that was leaning over Copper Mine Road cleared away. I don't know which agency he finally got to do it. It happened to be in a short stretch of Copper Mine where there are no PSE and G lines, so it hadn't taken one of them down. And the other people who put up wires on utility poles don't usually do dangerously leaning trees. And the Public Works Department's pickup of brush debris from the hurricane reached my street today, so they must be just about done. So this is another service the township is providing, and if you pass by the mini dump, you'll see a tremendous amount of material that has been picked up from along our streets, typically remains of trees that fell down across the street. So I thank the Public Works Department for doing this. I'd also mention that Councilman Kramer, Councilman Regan, and Councilman Vasanella and I took a tour of sewage authority facilities, both their headquarters and their garages there, and a couple of the pumping stations. I had no idea how complex these pumping stations are and how far below ground they typically extend. It was also very interesting to hear the provisions that they are taking to try not have the pumping station on Western Canal Road flood waist deep the next time the river goes into flood, as it did during Hurricane Irene. Hopefully with a combination of trying to seal the building as well as possible and have a sump pump to pump out what water does get in, they can keep the facility working and keep the equipment in good shape. So I think that's enough for tonight, and thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Rajiv Prasad.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ditto to everything that has been said. I support the Emancipation Proclamation. Even the picture of President Obama is a great idea, and I support it. And the Newtown shootings, it was in the news that our attorney is also the attorney of Marlborough Township, and the mayor there has decided to have armed police in all the schools. We should evaluate all options and come up with the best that we can, and jointly work with the Board of Ed and Ms. Naj to ensure the safety of our children. Two of my grandchildren live in Marlborough, so I'm glad they're safe. And I hope we can say the same about Franklin. And I support the sidewalks. And on the Land Use Committee, of course, we've done a great job with Middle Bush Park and move things along. Hope we can make similar progress with the Southern Park, especially for the cricketers who are been orphans for a long time and need. Yeah, yeah. So we're looking to make that happen. I know some people don't like cricketers, but just for the record, George Washington played cricket before baseball was invented by Abner Doubleday. So, father of the nation played. So you got to give it some respect. And even our current president went and took lessons from Brian Lara, the best cricketer, the Babe Ruth of cricket in the West Indies. So we got to give the cricketers, like myself, some respect. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
Happy New Year to everybody.
Okay, thank you. And Deputy Mayor Rosalind Sherman.
Thank you. I just have a few quick remarks. First, we did survive the end of the world. It didn't happen, luckily, and we're here to prove that. So there is a bright note about things that have happened in the recent past. Just one or two other things. The Cultural Arts Committee is going to be part of the 4th of July committee, as we were last year. We did provide the entertainment for the 2012 event, and we will be on the committee serving in a similar capacity this year. So, Mr. Wright, Councilman Wright, you have to add us to your list. The other thing I just wanted to make people aware of, the admin committee had recommended a upgrading of the website, Franklin Township's website. And I know there was a meeting, unfortunately, I was not able to attend. There was a bid that went out to several vendors, and from what I hear, there is going to be some very interesting and beautiful upgrades that are going to come at some point. I don't know the timing since I missed the meeting, but I think everyone will be pleased when this comes to pass. So I will end my comments there, and again, wish everyone a happy, healthy New Year.
Okay, thank you. Now for my comments. So I thank I guess it was mostly the Cultural Arts Commission and Deputy Mayor Sherman who provided and arranged for the reception. Beforehand, thank you very much. And just on a comment earlier, which I didn't bring up, but going back to SCAP, Councilwoman Francois is actually, she's been there a long time, done a lot of work, and some things which people don't know. Just to be very brief, there's financing, it was coming due, the bank didn't like dealing with the nonprofits and our structure, and Councilwoman Francois went around and almost single-handedly got that redone for the board, and that was like invisible to most people, but extremely important to those of us who look at the finances and get it running. So there's a lot that's going on. Immeasurably, she's been done on a property which the organization is trying to fix and enhance or do something with for the kids, arrange for divas and gents to have some space, and it's a lot of things are a function of money, but because I was remiss not mentioning that before, because I've seen her work there, and I must say much better and more than I on the board. So that's, I just wanted to bring that out also.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
If it is, it is. And except for Happy New Year, that'll end my comments also. So now we come to item number 16, which is council discussion items, of which there are none. And item 17, approval of minutes, of which there are none. So we come to item number 18, warrants. The warrants, they're the bills that we pay. So warrants in the amount of $14,039,713.85 on January 2nd, 2013 are presented to the Township Council for payment. And just for clarification, our budget's about $55 million. And this week, we're voting on a quarter of that, $14 million. We collect money for the Board of Ed, the county, and send it off. So, Ms. Naj, after we vote on this, we'll send you your check. Okay. Okay. Is there a motion to pay the warrants as read?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Ms. McCarthy, please poll the council on payment of the warrants.
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Kramer?
Yes.
Mayor Levine?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Councilman Regan?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sherman?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Oops. Okay, motion is carried. We next have 19, public hearing and adoption of ordinances on second reading. Usually ordinances go into law with 2 votes. The first one is taken, and then usually 1 or 2 meetings later, a second vote is taken on that ordinance, and at that second vote, there's a public hearing. If anyone wants to speak on that ordinance, we hear it, and if it passes, then that ordinance will go into law. We do not have any second readings tonight, but we do have two on first reading. One is 20-1. It's ordinance 4000-13. And just know that 13, that stands for 2013. That's why we got our numbering. An ordinance amending the municipal code of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, Chapter 106, bingo and raffles, designated the municipal clerk as the issuing authority for bingo and raffle licenses within the Township of Franklin. What this does is, instead of bingo and raffle acceptance coming to the council, the municipal clerk can make that decision on her own. There's various criteria that has to follow, legal items, registering with the state and us, and she gives us the recommendations anyway, so we give her the authority to do that. The foregoing ordinance is presented to the Township Council for adoption on first reading, posting, publication in accordance with law, and public hearing, and final adoption on Tuesday, January 22nd, 2013, at 7 o'clock p.m. here at the Municipal Complex. Is there a motion to introduce?
Mr. Mayor?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Moved. Second. Councilman Vasanella?
Yes, the reason I jumped in before was introduced, because I have a question about raffles, and I just, it wasn't particular to this ordinance, but I wanted to bring it up. And that was simply, and I support the ordinance, but whenever a organization, usually they're nonprofits, I believe, has a raffle, a bingo, whatever, 50/50s, whatever they're getting this license for, if it is legal, I would like it to be somehow listed on our website, mainly for the reason that I believe, and this is if it's legal, it would help the cause of our mainly nonprofits, church, various groups that get these, have these events. And I know we can't show favoritism, and I don't want us to, but if we listed all in every event, like there was some kind of link or something on the website, I know it's going through reconstruction, or it may be getting some enhancements. But if our attorney could let us know if that is legal, I would like counsel, I don't believe it would be a resolution, to simply direct or approve the idea of the clerk seeing if it's feasible that these, as they're approved by her or council, go up for the public to be aware of.
Mr. Renaud?
Bingo or raffle permit approvals are public records, so
if we
like
didn't
any
show-
other public record, resolutions of the council, if you wanted to have a section where you could click on and it would give you a list of all bingo licenses or raffle licenses that were granted.
Yeah, I don't want to
They're
make
public records.
this a lot of work for the clerk's office, but if it can be done in a simple way, I believe there's, this is one of, I hope many, myself and others bring forward, little ways that government can work within the law and help our, what I believe are mainly nonprofits who engage in this type of activity. So if none of council has, other council has an objection to this, I would ask that the clerk try to initiate this with the first go-around of licenses for 2013. Mayor, if there's no objection by any council members.
Items like that can be integral to your revamping of the website, too.
Well, yes, but just if there was a simple way to get it going, because I understand that may be a longer-term process. But yes, thank you, Mayor.
If feasible, Ms. McCarthy, you'll let us know if they say that's doable. Okay, good point.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Councilman Regan?
So on this ordinance, I guess actually at this time, I'm going to take my plug for the beginning of the year to say that, again, we're in a model. We used to have work sessions where ordinance would come to us before the first reading, and we would get to have discussions about them. I would think that this would have been a good one for that, instead of having it upon first reading. So I hope that council this year will take another look at our ability to have more working sessions, such that we do not get in a position where we're reading an ordinance for the first time upon its introduction. I don't know what subcommittee this came from or how it passed through, and I'm not picking on this one. It's just the fact that this is the first one of the year that we as a municipal government, sitting body, should not be reading an ordinance for the first time upon introduction. There should be a work session in which we review these. All right, on this particular one, I guess the question I would ask is, so, and I'm all for cutting down the time and being more efficient and allowing the appropriate people in government to give approvals, but given that that was done at council and there were votes, how are we going to, is that going to come to us in a report from the clerk's office to say, these are the ones I authorized over the last month? Like, this basically will be information we used to see and be aware of. Now it's going to go off our radar.
I can send you a monthly report which ones are issued. It's not a problem.
Councilman
Mr.
Reagan,
Raynone?
just to give you an idea as to the genesis of this, on occasion, it usually happens once a year probably, we have an organization who comes in, they have an event on Saturday night, they come in on Wednesday, and they say, oh my God, I just realized I need a governing body resolution, the meeting's not until 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It was,
And
that
that's why I'm
happened.
fully supportive of this.
Yeah, it happened 2 months ago, and I just made the clerk aware of the fact that they had amended the state law about 5 years ago to, because as you know, these are done routinely, but certainly the simplest way to do is for the clerk to just, give you a report, as she does on a regular basis, as to what's granted.
Yeah, so again, I'm not challenging or saying that this is a bad idea. I think it's a good idea. It's just that, again, I took the opportunity for two things, kill two birds with one stone. The fact that I had a question about this, but I also wanted, again, to make my plug about the need for this governing body to see ordinances in a working session prior to the first time we see it as the first reading. Thank you very much.
Okay, and just Councilman Regan, for practical and maybe administration or some ad hoc committee can actually get, take it up. We can figure out.
Admin, we could take that up now.
Yeah, next time we can figure out how to take that up. Okay, thank you. Other discussion on this ordinance? Seeing none. Madam Clerk, please poll the council on item 20-1, which is ordinance 4000-13, please.
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes, I think it's a very effective way of doing things going forward. Yes.
Councilman Kramer?
Yes.
Mayor Levine?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Councilman Regan?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sherman?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Okay, motion is carried. Now we have the second and last of the ordinance introductions, is item 20-2 on the agenda, ordinance 4001-13, an ordinance of the Code of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, more particularly, Chapter 236, Municipal Services, Schedule A, Sterling Point. This basically has where Sterling Point, the development, can be reimbursed for municipal services, in particular lights and light poles at this point. The foregoing ordinance is presented to the Township Council for adoption on first reading, posting, publication in accordance with law, and public hearing, and final adoption on Tuesday, January 22nd, 2013, at 7:00 p.m. at the Municipal Complex. Is there a motion to introduce?
So moved.
Second. Oh.
Moved and seconded. Discussion? Ms. McCarthy, please poll the council on item 20-2. On the agenda, ordinance 4001-13, please.
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Kramer?
Yes.
Mayor Levine?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Councilman Regan?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sherman?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Okay, motion is carried. Next, we have our consent agenda. Consent agenda are items of the basically routine nature that can be voted on at one time. And it is any council person's prerogative to have something off for a separate vote. So we just make sure I got the count right. There are 33 as of our last agenda.
34.
34.
It's 34, okay. So item 21, 1 through 34, under item 21, as listed on the consent agenda portion of this meeting, are presented to the Township Council for adoption. Is there discussion, separate vote, or motion for the consent agenda?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Regan?
I lost track of it, but the one regarding the fire commissioner's salary. Oh, here we go, compensation, item 12, resolution 1315. Is there any way that this can be tabled?
Sure, you have, we
So
want
that way
to
we
first
can
pull
bring
it off.
this up at the next meeting. I'd like to get a little more background as to the increase in one of the districts, as to the district being paid the highest salaries have asked for an increase, and it's not clear to me.
Okay, so I'll take that as a motion to table, not because you're questioning it, you just want to know the background behind it.
Well, no, I have to be honest, I'm questioning.
Okay, I shouldn't put words.
I don't want to.
I apologize.
I don't want to mislead anybody
Okay.
with my
Okay,
intentions.
so to table Resolution 13-15 and come up next time for further discussion. Okay. Is there a second on the motion to table?
I second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any discussion on the motion to table, not the ordinance itself?
Resolution.
I'm sorry, the resolution, thank you very much. Just give, on the concept of tabling, I'm generally in favor of it as it is, but I can see if a council person needs more information, I can respect that too. So, no other discussion. Madam Clerk, please pull the council on the motion to table Resolution 13-15 to bring it up next meeting, please.
Councilman Chase,
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois,
Yes.
Councilman Kramer,
Yes.
Mayor Levine,
Yes.
Councilman Prasad,
Yes.
Councilman Regan,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sherman,
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella,
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
Okay, thanks. And Madam Clerk, we'll probably see that next meeting, I guess.
So,
Okay,
Mayor?
thank you for that. Other items for votes or discussion or motion for the rest of the consent agenda?
Mayor,
Yes, Councilman Vasanella.
two questions
Yes, sir.
about resolutions. I'm not asking to be withdrawn, but some clarification. Consent agenda resolution number 13-7, number 5 listed on the agenda. Fix the rate of interest to be charged on delinquent taxes or assessments. I believe I know the answers to this, but if our attorney could just state two things. A, is that's set by statute by the state government, so we do not have a choice, and what it currently is, and if that's a change from the past.
It's no change.
Same.
That is the statute.
Yeah.
That's,
Microphone.
correct.
That is the statute.
It's a statutory, it's 18%, and there's
Correct.
no change from previous year.
Correct.
Right.
Said, I just wanted it
Okay.
out there, and
Sure.
pretty sure those were the answers, but, so people in the public, God forbid, they weren't able to pay their tax for some reason, it's 18% yearly annual percentage, and we don't control that. Number 34, last resolution, well, listed as number 34, which is 13-37. I don't have, I'm not asking to have it pulled or to speak against it, but it is a $233,000 appropriation for some work, I believe, having to do with one of the historic bridge tenders' house in Griggstown. If could just get a really quick mention as to what that is, since it is such a large appropriation.
Mr. Mayor?
Councilman Chase.
Yes, Councilman.
Or Councilman,
Chase, I'm sorry.
I'm happy, Mayor, for the manager, or Councilman Chase to
Sorry,
do that
Councilman Chase,
commentary.
please.
What this is the Millstone Valley Preservation Coalition got a grant, I think it was $260,000 to restore the Griggstown Bridge Tender's house. Unfortunately, it's the type of grant that you put out the money, and after you prove that you've done the work, then you get reimbursed. And they have not, not 0.1% of that amount of money. So it was arranged that basically the township would act as their agent and would handle the in this case, we'd have to go out for bids, and I note that this is a different firm, maybe just the same firm with a name change, but I think it's a different firm from the last time this item was going to appear on the consent agenda. We are handling this, and in addition, there's going to be some supplemental payment from the Department of Environmental Protection, because the first time that we put this out for bid, all of the bids came in above the amount of the grant, but because in the grant they had specified the work that was going to be done, we had to arrange for all the work to be done in order to get the grant repayment. The then Assistant Commissioner, Amy Craddock, came up with some extra money to cover that, and now we're ready to go ahead with this. I think all the ducks are in the row. I got an email today that the last issue, which was that the state requires the Millstone Valley Preservation Coalition to have insurance. It's not clear exactly what, but they require it. But that is being covered, and we really need to go ahead with this, otherwise the bids will expire and then they'll have to give the grant back. So it's very important that we pass this tonight.
I appreciate the
It's not
insight.
our money, is the bottom line.
I was just going to say, it was very valuable information, Councilman Chase, but if I'm understanding it correctly, it basically is not, although we're technically making the appropriation, we ultimately will not be covering the cost of that. And that's a good news, and I invite whoever, the entities, you've mentioned a bunch of different people involved, that once the work is done, to come back and tell council about it, or show us some pictures, and let the public know the work's been done. But thank you for that explanation, Mayor. I'm finished.
Okay, Councilman.
Mr. Mayor, I move for passage of the consent agenda.
Okay. Okay, is there a second for the
Second.
consent agenda?
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded, with the exception of number 12, which is tabled till next week. Ms. McCarthy, please poll the council on the consent agenda 1 through 34, with the exception of number 12, please.
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Kramer?
Yes.
Mayor Levine?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Councilman Regan?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sherman?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Wright.
I just want to give an update for anyone that's listening, if you intend to go. That's the Martin Luther King Jr.'s Community Breakfast. And if I may, Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
on Monday, January the 21st, 2013,
Very good.
the Martin Luther King Community Breakfast Committee of Franklin Township will be hosting the 16th annual Franklin Township Dr. Martin Luther King Community Breakfast to be held at the Somerset Doubletree Hotel on Davison Avenue. Every year, over 500 members of the Franklin community, civic, business, religious, government, and school, gather to celebrate and commemorate the life and work of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. As this breakfast continues to be a true community celebration, it provides needed scholarships for our Franklin youth. Since 1996, 113 students have been awarded scholarships, turning $102,550. This year's speaker is Raymond M. Brown, Esquire. He's the host of the Emmy Award-winning New Jersey Network program, Due Process, a trial lawyer, teacher, and legal journalist since 1974. In addition, he has conducted litigation, internal investigations, and white-collar defense in 12 states and 7 countries, as well as had international experience with the International Criminal Court in The Hague and as co-defense counsel at the Special Court for Sierra Leone. If you would like tickets, the donation for the event is $30, and it goes to the Franklin Township Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. celebration. It's being hosted, as it is every year, by the Franklin Township Chamber of Commerce, Leon T. Hughes, president. Now, we have all kind of email addresses for this project, and I would just say, if you would go to board, BOARD, at board.hsbcc.org. I'll say that again. It's board, B-O-A-R-D. Oh, just lost it. Oh, shoot. Hold on one second. Newfangled computer. BOARD at hsbcc.org to find out more about it, subscribe for a ticket, come to the event, all kind of good things. So keep that in mind, and it's on Monday, January the 21st, 2013, and King's birthday happens to be my birthday. So you know I'll be there celebrating. So come on out, and it should be a good event. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, that's a good reminder. Thank you. We have probably as I'm told, the #1 Martin Luther King celebration in central New Jersey, pretty much. Deputy
Mr. Mayor, yes, thank you. I did forget another issue. Just quickly, on the 8th of January, there's going to be a meeting here in the council chamber for the residents of Magnolia Road. This kind of ties in with something that Councilman Kramer was talking about. That's the street that sort of is a bridge between JFK Boulevard and DeMott Lane. People use it as a cut-through. They have a lot of speeders on their street. And the Public Safety Committee has asked the police department to come up with some recommendations for calming the speeders. So there is a meeting here in the council chamber, and it's open to the public. And if you have speeding problems on your street, please come listen to some of the suggestions that are going to be made and see how there might be opportunities for resolution. So the 8th of January, 7 o'clock, here at the council chamber. Thank you.
Okay, very important too. Thank you very much. Okay, we have 22. Item 22 on the agenda, resolutions voted on separately, of which there are none. We've got 23 old business, of which we do not have any. Part of my grammar, I think, there. And item number 24, adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Moved and seconded.
Second.
I'll take that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? We are adjourned. Happy New Year from all of us. Thanks.